Hello, my name is Sarah Schmuckler, and this is my final assignment for Bowen Family Therapy. The case consists of a mother named Judy, a father named Adrian, and an adult daughter named Pam. Pam is 32 years old. She still lives at home with her parents, and she is developmentally disabled. From what I can discern, the family is relatively privileged. They are white, they are heterosexual, and from what I can discern, they are also middle class, considering that they can afford to live off of one income. Their religion and cultural background is not indicated, so I'm not sure what that is, but overall it seems that they're relatively privileged with the exception that their daughter is developmentally disabled. The parents state that their reason for entering therapy is Pam's lack of communication. They state that at times Pam will need to be told numerous times in order for them to get her to do anything, and that they even have to yell. They also state that sometimes Pam will not answer when she's being addressed. When Pam was asked if this is true, she agreed. Based on the information the family provided, I have constructed a genogram. In subsequent sessions, I would conduct a more thorough genogram with the clients. From the genogram I constructed, it was clear that there were interlocking, non-functional triangles. A triangle exists between the mother and the father in that they are both aligned against Pam and state that the family's problem is her lack of communication. This triangle reinforces that Pam is a dysfunctional member of the family. In fact, the father mentions at the beginning of the session that the last therapist they met with wanted to address issues with the parents, and he reacted to this with anger. It is clear that the parents do not believe that any of the dysfunction within the family lies with them, and they are adamant on maintaining the triangle between them where Pam is identified as the problem. This triangulation serves to alleviate the chronic anxiety present between the parents' marriage, because they can focus on Pam as the problem rather than on themselves. There is also a triangle between Pam and her father where they often align against the mother. The parents and Pam speak extensively about Pam's emotional cutoff from her mother, but they have no solution for this lack of connection. At one point in the interview, when the triangulation between Adrian and Pam is brought up, Judy agrees that they are quote-unquote in a conspiracy against her, and Pam and Adrian laugh about it. The triangle between the father and Pam reinforces the emotional cutoff from her mother. It tells Pam that it is okay that she doesn't have a relationship with her, and that it is even something to joke about. This triangulation serves to alleviate the chronic anxiety between Judy and Pam, because Adrian makes light of the emotional cutoff between them, so it does not feel as though it is as problematic as it truly is. Sibling position may also play a part in this. Older brothers of sisters tend to sacrifice, work well, and appreciate the women in their lives. Youngest sisters of brothers tend to form long-lasting relationships with men. With the loss of her brother, this dynamic is gone from her life, so therefore it would be natural for Pam to want to bond more with her father than her mother. The genogram would lead me to ask questions about the multi-generational transmission process. During the interview, at one point, Judy states that she wants Pam to be the daughter that she always wanted, which would lead me to ask questions in regards to what relationship Judy had with her own mother, specifically whether she was close with her own mother, whether they did things together often. I hypothesized that Judy and her mother actually did not have a close relationship, and that Judy is seeking to find this mother-daughter bond that she never had in her relationship with Pam. She constantly asks Pam to do things that she knows Pam would like to do. However, Pam tells her that she would either prefer to do them alone or she will do them with her friend Jessie, who took on a grandmother role for her. So this creates a pursuer-distancer dynamic between the mother and daughter. It also makes me bring into question the reason why they adopted a girl as opposed to a boy. I do understand that they already had a biological son, but I wonder if they adopted a girl specifically because Judy really wanted this mother-daughter bond that she never had herself when she was a child. Another aspect of the multi-generational transmission process that I would address with the family is their expression of emotions. Judy, Adrian, and Pam state that they don't feel that it's okay for them to express anger within their family, so they tend to internalize these feelings. Pam will externalize these feelings of anger occasionally by throwing objects, but she does not verbalize her feelings of anger. So I would subsequently ask questions in regards to how anger was dealt with in Judy and Adrian's family of origin, whether it was acceptable for them to express anger, how they expressed anger, if they internalized it, whether their parents told them that it was not appropriate for them to express anger. I hypothesized that they were not permitted to express anger and it was discouraged in their families of origin, and they have subsequently brought that over into the family that they have formed with Pam. The last area of the multi-generational transmission process that I would discuss with the family is the expression of sadness or grief. The family stated that they feel safe expressing emotions such as sadness with each other. However, I'm not 100% convinced that that's the case. When the son's suicide was brought up, the father quickly changed the subject, and the rest of the family followed suit. As a result, I would ask questions about other experiences of loss of a loved one in their family of origin, how they expressed sadness or grief in their own family of origin, and whether these feelings were encouraged or discouraged. I hypothesized that the father was discouraged from expressing sadness in his family of origin. He mentioned at one point during the interview that his wife, he wanted his wife to be home and not to be working, and that's what good wives do. So I have a feeling that his father prescribed to traditional gender roles and taught them to his son, and traditional gender roles would indicate that he also should not be expressing emotions such as sadness, because men don't do that. I also believe the lack of communication around sadness or grief is profoundly affecting Pam, especially since she's socially isolating herself. Her brother was a companion, a confidant, and the fact that she can't outwardly express her feelings of grief with her family, who are also going through the same experience as her, is probably making her feel socially isolated, and she's also choosing not to communicate as much with her parents because she feels that she can't. I also think the anxiety that Judy and Adrian are feeling as a result of the loss of their son is profoundly affecting Pam. I believe that, frankly, they're afraid of losing her as well. They encourage her to go out and make new friends, yet at the same time, they also don't want her going to the truck stop. They don't want her leaving the house and telling them last minute where she's going. They prefer that she tell them well in advance where she's going. I understand that they're concerned about her safety, and that's understandable, but she is 32 years old, she's an adult, and she has exhibited behavior that she is able to act independently. She's able to hold down a part-time job, and she's also able to complete college courses. So I think that a lot of the restrictions that they're putting on her pertain to their fear of losing her. And I think as a result, they're projecting their anxiety onto her. So as a result, a lot of times Pam is socially isolating herself. Some of the questions that I would ask them would be ways that they could foster independence in Pam that would be acceptable to them. Also, I would ask of what restrictions their own parents and their family of origin had placed on them, whether they were permitted to go out, whether they had to tell their parents where they were going, whether there was places that they weren't allowed to go to. The things that they learned from their parents regarding rules may have transmitted into this family as well. In regards to differentiation, this family is at a low level of differentiation, and they're actually very fused. They all function as a system. They don't function as individuals at all. At one point during the interview, Pam was asked that if she won a contest where she got a fully furnished condo, what would she do? And her response was that she would bring her parents along. And they laughed and they smiled and they thought that that was a great answer, but that's quite evident of the fusion within the family. At age 32, despite the fact that she's developmentally disabled, she's very capable of being independent. She is able to hold down a part-time job. She's able to take classes, but the fact remains that she doesn't want to be away from her family. This is also evident by the fact that when there's a male friend coming by that her parents encourage her to be nice to, encourage her to go out with, she denies it. And when asked why she doesn't want to be around him, she says, "I just don't know. I just don't like him. I don't want to spend time with him." And I believe that part of the reason why she feels this way towards this male friend is because if she were to form a romantic relationship with him, then eventually the next step would be her to move out of her home with her family. And that's not something that she's comfortable with. That's not something she wants to do. And that's because of the fusion within the family. Now, in regards to levels of differentiation among the family members, the mother is the most differentiated. She holds down a full-time job outside of the family, which she is very happy to keep. When asked about how the family feels about her job, Adrian and Pam said that they wish that she could quit her job and stay home and take care of them. Judy, when asked if she would want to quit her job, said even if it were financially viable, she would not want to leave her job because she enjoys it. Even though she doesn't actually like the job, she enjoys being outside of the family and doing something different, which means that she's at a higher level of differentiation. She is actually the over-functioner of the family. She does, despite working full-time and providing for them financially, she also tends to do a lot of the housework as well, and the father and Pam are the under-functioners of the family. The father will be at a lower level than Judy. In regards to differentiation, he doesn't do anything outside of the family. He stays at home. His primary job is to take care of Pam and to take care of the house, and his whole life revolves around the family. He doesn't have any outside activities. Pam, on the other hand, is a little bit more differentiated. She has activities outside of the family. She bowls. She does bingo. She has a part-time job. She at one point took college courses. However, what's really concerning is that she does not have any individual opinions. When the family expresses something, she generally goes along with it. Even if she senses apprehension, she still goes along with it. And her parents say that she tends to say some things that will please people. And that really shows a lack of differentiation. Questions that I might ask in regards to differentiation would be in regards to them getting outside and doing individual things outside the family. What kind of activities would you be comfortable doing that don't involve the family? What would happen if you had to move out, Pam? How would you cope with that? Those questions would help to explore areas and ways of differentiating from the family. I believe, despite the fact that the family came in with a presenting problem that Pam was unwilling to communicate with them, that the actual presenting problem that should be addressed is within the multi-generational transmission process. I think the lack of expression of communication is a gigantic issue within this family. The fact that they can't express their emotions, they can't communicate with each other about how they're feeling, is not only directly impacting their marriage, but it's also impacting the way Pam communicates with them and the way that Pam communicates with the world. She doesn't feel comfortable or allowed even to express her emotions, so she shuts down and she internalizes all the feelings that she is experiencing. And when she does externalize her emotions, she throws things when she's angry instead of verbalizing how she's feeling. Furthermore, I think that Judy's relationship with Pam is a direct result of her relationship with her own mother and her family, Judy's mother and her family of origin. I don't think that Judy had the mother-daughter bond that she had always wanted with her mother. I don't think that they went out and did things. They had a very close relationship. And I think as a result, Judy is actively pursuing this relationship with Pam. However, since she's actively pursuing this with Pam, Pam is distancing herself, which is just exacerbating the problem. So I think that if you are able to address these issues that Judy and Adrian are having in their own families of origin, that it might alleviate some of the symptoms and problems within the presenting family. I understand that joining with this family is going to be paramount, considering that the father gave a disclaimer in the very beginning that he does not want um, any of the focus to be on him or his wife, that the focus should be on Pam, and he became very angry about that with a previous therapist. Um, that's why my main question would be, how exactly do you approach addressing the multi-generational transmission process with a family where they have such strong emotion about the focus being on the identified patient, and when the identified patient is so fused within the family that she'll agree with anything that they say. So basically, I'm wondering if there's any tactics, if there's any advice, how would I handle or de-escalate the anger if it does arise? How do I help these parents see that the therapeutic process isn't going to be as advantageous as it could be if we don't include them as well?